The following broadcast contains strong opinions, playful antics, and controversial topics causing off-the-rails fun. Chances for being offended are higher than average for sensitive people. Viewer discretion is not advised. Live a little and have some fun.
And just like that, hey, everybody. Welcome to the Coach's Box. Right? Episode 197. We've done a bunch of these. We're getting closer to the big 200. So thanks for you guys tuning in tonight. I am Chris Miller. I can't tell exactly what everybody else is, but we have everybody but one.
Who is that? Who is that?
Shocking. If I hear one more word about him, I don't even want to hear from him anymore.
Mad Max is running the show tonight.
Yeah.
Max Hedstrom.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means.
So
anyway, appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. We have a plethora of topics, most of them that me and Zach will not probably know a whole lot about. But
there's just one.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, Zach's definitely out on most of the show. He's just here for moral support at this point. He's here so he's not labeled like Jarvis for not ever showing up.
Right.
Hey, this is 3 weeks in a row for Jarvis not being here.
And 4 weeks in a row for me being here.
Yeah.
Bizarro world. Swear. Crazy.
It's called
But
Sunshine.
he'll be here next week because we are finally, and guys, I can't remember the last time we've done the show all together. Was it done at the 09?
It might have been
at some point.
I'm
sure
we've done it together since then.
I can't remember. But next week we'll be at the Mac right here in South City, and it'll be a lot of fun. And I already know that Langhauser will be joining us. I've also heard a rumbling that Noland may be joining us.
I don't believe that.
Neither do I. But he is saying that there is an outside possibility that he may be in the house.
I got a better chance
we
to
shall
get struck
see.
by lightning. So,
or almost better internet, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
It rained. Shut up.
But
I gotta say,
Chris.
It's really bad when Spectrum doesn't have the same kind of internet that Elon Musk and his magical rocket ship does, because the Starlink internet on the farm just kicks the ever-loving hell out of this internet right now. I'm just telling you.
We
never had any
week.
issues. Yeah, none. Zero issues.
It was
nothing.
great.
You should have stayed at the farm.
Yeah.
Maybe that's your sign. Farm life is your life.
I can't wait. I just can't wait. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Can't wait. Go ahead. Laugh it up.
Oh, we're laughing it up.
Got jokes. Is that your car? No. What movie? You guys don't even know.
No.
The Replacements. All right, Jim. What's on the docket for us? Since you're the professional person on the show.
I'm nobody.
I know.
So tonight, yes, I know.
Yeah, wait. No, hang on. Wait. You actually got a promotion, Jim. Why don't you tell us about your hashtag big time promotion?
Oh gosh, the wonderful folks at the Sooner Athletic Conference, who I'm the I've been the conference communications director for the last year. They have graciously asked me to expand my role to assistant commissioner. I'll still be handling all the communication side of stuff, but I'll also be in charge of all the championships. So a little bit more on my plate. I'll be helping the commissioner with some other duties to be assigned, which we're going to meet next week and go through all of that fun stuff. But the Sooners a great conference. We just added a Missouri school this on the first. College of the Ozarks joined our conference down right outside of Branson. So up to 13 schools now. We've won 112 national championships in our, between all of our schools. We had a chance to win 2 this year. Langston's men's basketball team was 50 seconds away from winning the national championship, but just kind of fell apart a little bit. And then Science and Art, who in my mind's got one of the best pitchers in the NAIA. Young lady, and Kevin, you'll appreciate this. She threw 4 perfect games this year and 2 more no-hitters on top of it.
Wait, I appreciate that. Why does it got to be Kevin? Zach
well, because you – oh, okay. Put it this way. I would love to see you bat against her. We've already seen how that story broke out, a little while back.
Yeah, whatever. Hey, how's your knee? Anyway,
it's great. But no, it's it's great to be a part of that. And the nice thing is I can still, work from here in St. Louis, and travel will be a little bit more. That's why I've stepped away from a lot of the mission stuff that I've done for so many years. And but it's an exciting move for me. It's something that I've always wanted to get myself into, and I'm excited about it. So it was official. The official day was July 1st, but I knew about it a couple weeks ago.
Well, congratulations to you, Jim. You are officially big time.
Hashtag big time.
Hashtag big time.
Hashtag commish.
Hashtag
assistant. What the hell?
I have no idea. I didn't do that.
Where did the balloons just come from? It's the Balloon Show on 101 ESPN. Tim McKernan, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, there is only one sports channel in town right now because 550 shut their doors and they're playing stupid Fox Sports radio stuff. So,
hey, the next stop for you, Jim, is going to be taking Roger Goodell's spot. I can already see it right now. No. Wait. When that happens, can you bring the Rams or somebody? No, not the Rams. Forget them. Can you bring a team to St. Louis?
I will not be doing that.
Write it down.
Just give Jarvis another reason to curse at him.
Oh gosh, like he needs reasons already. I'm surprised he hasn't tried. Last week he tried to join us from the plane. I'm waiting for him to try and come in from Ventura Beach or whatever the hell beach he's at right now.
Santa Monica Beach.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right, so back to the show. Congratulations again, Jim. Well deserved. You do a great job.
Thank you.
Now we have to do our business. So
let's on the docket tonight, we're going to talk about some Blues and some moves that they made this week and their prospect camp that's been going on up at Centene. Then we're going to jump into some Mizzou talk. A lot of people social media blew up earlier this week because of the young man, the Sims kid from CBC that decided to take his talents to the West Coast. To USC. So a lot of people still kicking around why Mizzou can't get some of the top talent from the St. Louis area. And then finally, we're going to talk about I was shocked when the news came out on Monday morning about Bradley Carnell getting let go by by City. And it shows that at least one team in St. Louis is making moves to get better, unlike the baseball team that is losing to Pittsburgh right now. Mosaic and DeWitt won't make anything, so we're going to kind of kick that around. But, the Blues, their prospect camp's going on, and Smoking Jeremy's already on. Love to see him after he was with us last week. And
back.
He was terrific last week. So
we're just going to go ahead. We are going to go
just
ahead.
put the comments up right now. Just get them there.
Let's freaking go.
So,
all right, let's go. Happy 4th of July, Podkin. Appreciate you tuning in too.
Yes.
So
Blues made some moves this week. I think that's an understatement, but with their prospect camp going on and everything, I think the big move, and a lot of people kind of scratching their heads a little bit why you're giving a 31-year-old defenseman a 6-year guaranteed deal. Not sure about that one, even though Budovic is really, really good. I mean, what do you guys think about that and some of the other moves that the Blues made this week?
Kevin, I want to go to you first.
Well, yes.
Since when I looked it up earlier, since June 18th, they've made 12 transactions. The Buchnevich one is the big one. Perunovic is probably behind it, but they have made a ton of depth decisions and depth acquisitions. They've traded a lot of trades for future considerations, whatever those might be. But and then they've decided that they've wanted to part ways with a couple of people that have been some people that have been good depth pieces for them in the past, whether it be trying to think what's one of the names I was thinking of was Sammy Blaze, Marco Scandella, those types. They've decided to part ways with them and let them be unrestricted free agents, but they are making moves. They haven't made the big one yet that everybody wants them to make, and to try to get rid of one of those defenseman contracts. I just don't know if they're going to do that now. Maybe they just can't find anybody to take those contracts. And by contracts, we mean either Falk or Krug.
Who?
One Falk or Krug.
You watch your mouth.
It's a family show. You don't say that.
I enunciated that very well. I am not.
Yeah, you did.
Not put me there.
You just gotta go ahead. Just forget about you and just go ALK on that one.
Yeah. Hey, maybe that's your sound that's messing up, but I'm pretty sure I said that right.
Oh, no.
I think you did, Kevin. I will say you said it correctly. So,
but here's my question.
I'll give a fuck what you guys think.
Yeah.
So my question, part of this with all these transactions, there's not really a big one. Are they rebuilding, or are they retooling, or are they completely going to be rebuilt? I can't think of the word I want to use now, but they're just not retool, not rebuild.
Replenish?
Tank.
Tank?
I don't think they're trying to, but they're not really.
Tanking.
It hasn't been earth-shattering. Let's just put it that way. I mean, you picked up earlier today. You grabbed Pierre-Olivier Joseph on a 1-year contract worth less than just shy of $1 million. 25-year-old defenseman. Okay, I mean, he played for Pittsburgh, had 11 points, only played in 52 regular season games.
They traded for his they traded for his brother as well, a right winger from Ottawa.
Yeah.
So
I mean, once again, I go back to the Bunovich 6-year deal on the extension, and it's worth $48 million, basically $8 million a year, and I'm just trying. I think it's okay, but once again, is it earth-shattering? No, it's not.
Yeah, they still have too much money tied up in defensemen who aren't producing, and so I think it's a little bit of a retool, but I wonder what that's gonna. I wonder what this is going to mean moving forward for roster depth.
Okay, so you answer this question for me here. With the Cat, do they have a lot of money to move around? I mean, Kevin, I know you just said that they have a lot of money tied up. Can they go out and do a lot of moves? And if they can, what type of expectations are you all having? Is this a situation where they need to go get a superstar? Do they need to get a lot of depth? I mean, answer the question on what you think needs to happen with the roster.
Well, here's the deal. Okay, Pat Maroon goes to Chicago. Why couldn't you make a push to get him back? You got Vladi Tarasenko, who got moved. I mean, there's some guys that have St. Louis ties. why, if you're going to roll out and try and get some other people, why don't you get some proven people and bring them back? That'll get people excited for the Blues. I just think these moves just aren't moving the needle, so to say.
I think that they're trying to get faster, which Maroon and Tarasenko don't really fit that role anymore. I think they're getting away from the Berube, ground and pound type of play, and I think they're trying to get faster, which is what I think a lot of these transactions are. But these look like a lot of fourth line and two-way contract guys. A lot of healthy scratches within all of these transactions.
Okay. You're looking going back to that the old dump and chase that they used. Yeah, and I wasn't a fan of that back in the day. I know.
So,
guys, the problem is they don't have anybody on their team. It's like, who the hell are these guys? If you go down the list, it's like, this guy's dead.
Well,
hold on. At least the moves that they're making are better than the Cardinals' damn pitching staff.
Okay, the pitching staff's one hope, but we'll get that another time. When I said there's no moves, it's like the two-way contract stuff. The guys these depth pieces, the guys that you take a gamble on, maybe they're off the scrap heap. We might that guy might work out, but I don't know.
I don't think these are a lot of pieces that fit within the very little cap. I guess to answer Zach's question, the cap space is minimal. They did clear some space. They were right on the cap last year, and they have cleared some space off of it. These don't really affect that number. But in order to really go out and get somebody that can help free agent wise, and I don't think the free agent class is all that great. They're going to get what they want out of the trade. The trade area is they're going to have to dump some money somewhere, and it's that defense. It's the fault. FAUK or FALK, whatever the heck it's called, or Krug. I wasn't going to attempt to say it. One of those two has to go. But those contracts are so bad, nobody wants them unless the Blues eat a bunch of it. And I don't think they're willing to do that. I think they're willing to just let them play out. And if they get better years next year, dump them at the deadline for somebody that is willing to pay it.
The thing is we don't have guys that can match the superstars of other teams. When you look at other teams and the players that they have, Bedard's a once-in-a-lifetime talent, per se. Nathan McKinnon, Cale Makar, obviously McDavid and Draisaitl. Those guys are top tier. We had an opportunity to get Matthew Tkachuk. Can't do that. Can't pull the trigger there. Half the reason is because they give Armstrong gave all of those guys no trade clauses. So he can't even move anybody right now. They're locked in. They are so locked in. Yes, those contracts do stink. They're so bad that they can't do anything. Get a bunch of dudes you've never heard of that won't be there. And I'm in this, watching all this happen, watching Stamkos get signed. Like Nashville's just doing it right. Nashville's on the up. They're the ones that are on the up. The Red Wings are on the up. We are not on the up. Guys, we got another year, and then maybe, we'll be contenders. Wait, we might make the wild card. Are we going to fire whatever his name is? Who's our coach now? I didn't even know his name off the top of my head. I've had a long day, but it's bad when I know the city coach more than I do the Blues coach. Okay, yeah, I know.
Wow, where did that just come from?
Because I can't think of it off top. I'm telling you, I'm fried. Bannister, whatever. He looks like he has a cue ball on top of his head. The thing is are we going to fire him when he doesn't get there? Because this is the team that might get there, or it might not. Or seriously, what are we expecting?
This is a wild card team at best.
Boy, that's an awful lot of that going through, isn't it? And through the St. Louis area.
Then why get stuck in mediocrity? Why even worry about it? Dump those contracts, eat the contracts. If you're gonna suck. Just end it. Just tear it down.
How do you do that if they don't have if they have no trade clauses? How do you do that?
Because you can find somebody that they will. They're not going to say I won't play for any other team but you guys, because they have guaranteed contracts.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. they have guaranteed contracts, so they're going to get paid. It's not like the NFL where you can sign all this money and then you dump them and whatever. And so they're guaranteed contracts, but the Blues can, like Kevin said, they can eat a portion of the contract that they can't just dump and get rid of. So if it's an $8 million contract, they could say we'll pay $4 million. So it's like, okay, well then that's only counting $4 million against our cap for an $8 million contract. I would do that for 1 or 2 years and suck, get those high draft picks and rebuild the team.
Yeah, the only way they're going to get a high draft pick for those, or a high enough draft pick, is to eat a great portion of that contract.
Right.
The team is not going to take that contract, pay all that money, and give up a pick. So you're basically paying, $6 million a year for a second round pick for one of them to do that. So
I'll agree with that. And Kevin, I understand what you're saying is the league is turning into more of a faster, it's not as physical type of play. It's more of a finesse, get the puck and go type, league. But my gosh, there's just got to be some other people out there that they could have been, in draft day. I go back to when the owner of the Browns is sitting there with Kevin Costner and basically say, I want you to make a splash as they're sitting under the big water slide.
Well, I think that their draft pick, from everything that I've gathered, and I don't know a whole lot about hockey, but as I read up on it, he was a top 10 pick before an injury. An injury set him back to the 6 spots he fell down. So from everything I've gathered is they got one of the top defenders in the draft. But as hockey, as in baseball, they're still 2-3 years out.
That's
with the exception of a couple of people with those draft picks.
That's why, because hockey is it's very similar to baseball. There's only about three kids per draft that you're 18, you can play right away. That's it. Everybody else you have to go and develop. Yeah.
Baseball and hockey both draft young and develop. Other sports that they use college and other things to then develop in order to bring them in as they're older. Age doesn't mean anything in hockey or baseball.
No.
The younger you can draft, the better.
So
you hold on to draft rights. They don't even have to play in your system. You hold draft rights. They can go play in some league in Russia or Sweden or Canada and play more hockey than they would in the minor leagues.
Connor McDavid was playing in the NHL when he was 19 years old.
Yeah.
I think he ended up playing half a season at like their whatever Edmonton's AAA affiliate is.
No, I don't
he
think
didn't. He went straight through. See, I thought he played a little bit there and then went straight through.
Nope, he went straight.
I could be wrong.
He went straight to the second line.
So let me ask you this question then: if you're saying we're pigeonholed, if you will, with the amount of money that we can get for different roster players, so then the question is, can you find the value of speed skaters? Because Kevin, you're talking about they don't want to do the ground and pound style that won them a Stanley Cup. You're looking at trying to go analytical, I guess, like baseball. If you're trying to go speed, are those guys even available? Because what I'm hearing is, hey, we want this, but this is what we can buy.
Well, here's what happened last year is they had these 2 defenders on the roster, and Krug, I think, even for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
But in Berube's system, which is a heavier system, they don't fit.
Mm-hmm.
I think they fit better in Bannister's system, but you can't just change systems mid-season.
No.
I think they're trying to turn the roster over to get where these 2 defensemen can help. So while I'm also kind of saying we need to get rid of them, or at least one of them, I'm also thinking, I wonder how they'll play in a system that gets a whole season under Bannister's system to play.
Yeah.
Talking about somebody else on a beach, flipping Darings on a beach too. Golly, what are we doing wrong? What are we doing wrong?
I think that again, because you have to wait for your talent to develop. If we're gonna have these games where we might beat somebody and then it's gonna be, again, why get stuck in mediocrity? Why do we have to have these seasons where it's like, you're not going to win. And again, why be like that? To quote Ricky Bobby, if you're not first, you're last. If I know I'm not going to win, I have no chance of getting into the playoffs and doing anything. What good were the Blues to just be almost in and or not?
Okay.
That's the difference between having a shot at the number 1 pick and having the 16th, 17th, 18th pick in the draft. Well, what does that do for us?
Well, here's something, Chris.
Oh, wait, peace out, Jeremy.
I am the optimistic one of the
yes, we know this, and you're still saying that the Cardinals are going to win 91 games. You've still lost your mind.
Okay.
He needs to go to the optometrist.
We're talking about the Blues. I do think that they have developed some of that talent. I think you're going to see good years out of Kyrou and Neighbors and Thomas next year. I think that they are going to take another step next year. I realize
off the short plank, I hope.
But
Kyrou.
Thomas is one of the best playmaking centers in the NHL.
I like Robert Thomas. Robert Thomas. I do
Kyrou
not.
Doesn't play any defense, but
Kyrou sucks.
I like Neighbors.
Yeah, I mean, terrible.
So yes, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
It's going to be an interesting scenario, but you know what, though? The West is going to be absolutely stinking loaded again. The East is not going to be that far behind. I mean, Edmonton, they are going to be as good as advertised again next year. Florida is going to be better next year. I mean, it's just going to be absolutely stupid.
Well, Nashville in the Central, Nashville is going to be the best team in the Central, and it's not even
close.
close.
Yeah.
Winnipeg looks like they may fall off. They've lost some of their players to free agency.
Good. I hate the Jets.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't even expect Colorado to be as good because they have cap issues, and they've had them for a while after signing all of these guys long term. And they're finally coming. The contracts are going to have to just jettison a lot of these contracts. So there's an opportunity in the Central, like the Central in baseball, to not have to be that great in order to win the Central.
I just think the West, when you look at Edmonton, when you look at Dallas, you look at Vegas. I mean, LA is a team that you still got to kind of keep an eye on because they've got some young dudes out there that can play. I just think the Western Conference is just going to be a gauntlet to get through once again. And then the East, you got Florida, you got Boston. Pittsburgh's going to, got a bunch of young kids that they're bringing up. And, I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous how good the NHL is right now. And I'm not saying a couple. It's across the board one of the best leagues out there right now, without any doubt.
Question.
Answer.
Who's the next Canadian team to win the Cup?
I still think it's Edmonton.
Yeah.
They got a lot of old
I think
dudes,
it's Edmonton.
Man.
And they've still got a bunch of young kids in that pipeline. I mean, you want to talk about a front office?
If
you want to talk
Calgary
about
hold on. Time out. Chris,
they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Chris, what's today?
July 3rd.
Today's July what?
3rd.
I know you've had a long day. What's today? It's July 3rd. What's tomorrow?
The day after July 3rd.
4th of
exactly.
July.
America. We don't care about Canadians and who's winning. This is about
Zach,
America. This is America's time.
When's the last time that they even won the Cup? Do you even know?
Who knows? Who cares?
He doesn't because these two did not watch the show that me and you did 2 weeks ago when we talked about that.
I watched it.
Exactly. Booyah!
Zach, you were like in 4th grade the last time you won it. Okay? That was 50 years ago. You were in 4th grade. They won the Cup. And it's
good. Stay there.
So, yeah. I'm just curious. Before we go to commercial, it's just a quick question. We're talking about hockey. Okay.
I think it's Edmonton. I think if there's a team that's going to win it, I think it's Edmonton.
Right now it's Edmonton. I think Calgary is right behind them.
Yep. And Zach doesn't count because he doesn't even know what above the border of Minnesota is.
No. Yeah.
Nope.
Montreal has been very good. Neither's been Vancouver.
Toronto
Winnipeg's
could
gonna
put
be bad.
Toronto
None of
could-
it. Does
Toronto
none of it
can't
have
get
a
out of the
hockey
way.
team?
Yeah.
Hockey team?
The Senators are the Clippers of the NHL.
Yes, they are.
That's a good.
Yes, they are. Very good analogy. So, Chris, would you like to go?
But again,
Yeah. Do you want to go to commercial so you can look at that? I believe that's what we're going to do.
sucks. All right,
Are
come
you
back.
there?
Coach's box.
I'm a bee, and I bumbled my way into your car.
Buzz.
But this hive isn't big enough for the both of us. Boo!
Oh, wow, what a buzzkill. And if you don't have the right auto insurance coverage,
Paying for this could really sting. So get Allstate, save money, and be protected from mayhem. Like me.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
It's Between Takes with Daikin and Dave Mars.
Cut. All right, next setup.
Hey Dave, we got another question about energy savings. And this is a good one.
Yeah, efficiency is so important.
Didn't you just talk with Daikin about this?
They said energy efficiency is the key to a happy marriage. She gets the temperature, I get the savings.
Good to know. I'll tell them to check with their local Daikin dealer.
All right, back to one.
Give Home by SMCI a call today at 636-337-4444 or email them at service@homebysmci.com.
New entertainment, you need full-length content, you need the Real Fresh channel. Hey, I'm Half Fresh from the Real Fresh channel. Subscribe today on YouTube. We have new content. We are a network of podcasters putting out new stuff every single day. Whether you need sports, pro or college, whether you need comedies, whether you need pop culture, whether you need wrestling, we've got so much content on there. Gaming, check it out. Live, not live, we've got it all. The Real Fresh channel. Subscribe today.
And hello, everybody, and we welcome you back into the Coach's Box, episode 197, Big Moves, No Moves, a tale of two teams. We're going to get to that topic in our last segment. Jim Powers, Chris Miller, who we don't know if his internet's working or not. We got Zach, we got Kevin. It's there. I'm telling you, go back to the farm. It works better down there, so... But
so does Chris work better when he's down there.
Well, that's true too. Valid point. You see, the problem's going to be with Miller over the next hour is Yeah, exactly. That's what I was just going to say. It's going to hear every fifth word, and then we're only going to hear every second word out of 10 when he talks.
So he's cursing and hissing on the other end as soon as he figures it out and accidentally unmutes his computer.
Oh,
it's going to be
So the City game starts in 1 minute. We'll keep everybody abreast of that. We're going to talk about City in the last segment, but let's get into Mizzou and football is literally they're going to report to camp here in 3 weeks. I think it is, and the opener is at the end of August. But the thing is, so Corey, I believe his last name is Sims,
yes,
wide
correct.
receiver for CBC, terrific wide receiver, and really just a great kid. Had his announcement this past Sunday. Now, I'm just going to preface this whole thing. I hate when these kids put a hat on and throw the hat and then put another one. Just flip and say who you're going to go with. Okay, so he puts on the show. And he put the Mizzou hat on, and then took the Mizzou hat off, threw it off to the side, and then I'm robed into the Southern Cal gear and all that stuff. But the big topic on Twitter and Facebook was why can't Mizzou get some of these top kids from St. Louis or the state of Missouri, and these kids are going elsewhere? And I think there were some legitimate points that got brought up in some of those conversations. Now, you guys, we've talked about this. You know my feeling about it. Number one, I think some kids want to get away. But number two, the SEC TV deal is not the best in the world, especially now since they lost the spot on CBS, that 2:30 window. And I think Mizzou still got some proving to do.
I think there's a lot to be said, and I don't know what the dynamic is, but it does seem like when there's a little smoke, there's fire as to why CBC kids don't seem to want to pick Mizzou as a destination. So something with the coaching staff, is there something with the school that's kind of pushing kids in a different direction? I don't want to say there is because I don't know, but is it getting there?
Yeah, I mean, the comment was, why won't the top level the private school kids go to Mizzou? So when you're talking about CBC, you're talking about the Smet, you're talking about Chaminade, you're talking about Lutheran North, Cardinal Ritter. You're talking about those types of schools. Why aren't these kids going to Mizzou? I don't know. I think the relationship, honestly, Kevin, you bring up a great point. I think the relationship with, Scott Pingle, the head coach at CBC, and the Mizzou coaching staff and the recruiting folks are pretty good. But now here's the other kicker, though, I think. NIL. Yeah. Who knows how much was promised in that whole transaction? And that's where everybody else was kind of going with the whole thing, too, is Mizzou's not throwing money around. And you've got everybody under the sun that's throwing a ton of money around.
Yeah, well, they're not really throwing money around. They're throwing numbers around, but there's many times no money attached to it because the schools can't promise. The coaches aren't supposed to say anything about NIL, so they can't really promise much of anything. Doesn't mean they don't.
Right.
They're not supposed to. I think that there's a lot of layers to this type of onion that is preventing it. And NIL is one of them. I think that maybe there's some relationships with coaching staffs. I think maybe there's even a part of it where some of these parochial schools are like, hey, it looks better for us if our kids go away and they go to those, USCs and some other schools, and it doesn't look as good if their kids go to Mizzou to go to school, whether or not they're playing football there or not. I think something to be part of that. Not saying that's the case here with Sims, but maybe there's something alluring to going out to LA to play football and playing in Southern California, in those types of things. Although now he's going to be, he's never going to be anywhere near the campus because they're going to be flying all over the upper Midwest to play football games every week. So I don't know that we can really pinpoint what it is.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. I look at it like this anymore because of the transfer portal. Unless rules change, is it a maybe them cool? Because think of many guys that are their third, fourth, if not fifth year that are coming back to Mizzou. Okay, I mean you had the receiver that.
Well, this is the last COVID year.
Mm-hmm. And I think
this is the last COVID year, Zach.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, and again, unless rules change and they wind up putting limitations on the transfer portal, I think you have to recruit players every year, meaning that you've got the high school kids, you've got your own kids, and you've got the transfer kids. And so, hey, you know what? You may not get them out of high school, but you might get some of these guys back when they're juniors and seniors when they realize, you know what? I'm one guy from the St. Louis area that goes out to California or goes to wherever else, and then I don't know anybody. I'm homesick. I can't make the depth chart, but I can come back home. Now I'm older. Now I'm 20, 21 years old. I'm a grown man. I've learned, and we get these guys and we graduate these guys. So,
maybe this is a thing where this is what Drink wanted. All right, if I get the guy as a freshman, great. I'm going to recruit him after his sophomore year, or some other person just like him after the sophomore year. There's a thing where it's like, I'd much rather have him finish his career here than start his career here. That type of thing. So there's a lot to be said for that. That's a great point, Zach.
Well, and the other thing too, what everybody's got to remember. Go ahead, Zach. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, you look at, and I know, and Jim, I know you said specifically to the St. Louis area, but I've got to throw Missouri in and say, look, okay, you're going to say, well, he played for East St. Louis, but you got Burden, who's a 5-star. You've got the 5-star D lineman that's signed from out in the Kansas City area. So, I mean, we're the big time recruits of the state. I think we're getting, but it's the fact that we all know St. Louis is a hotbed for athletes. Just look at it, and I might be stealing your thunder. Look at all the St. Louis athletes that are going to the Olympics. Okay. Yeah. So we know because we live in and around the area that St. Louis has a ton of talent. And so that's why we question why are we not getting the big time athletes?
Mizzou is now in a place where we're disappointed when the big time athletes don't go there versus surprised when they do go. And I think that's a great thing to be said for what Drink has done with that program. To add on to your point, Zach, there was something that was read. I was in Texas last week, so I didn't get a chance to really read it. Somebody said that St. Louis per capita produces the most amount of professional athletes out of all the U.S. cities on a per capita basis. I don't know.
I can believe that.
I didn't know much more than that, but I can't. I think I heard that somewhere.
Yeah, I've seen.
Here's here's what everybody's dealing with, and this just isn't a Mizzou thing. And I've talked to college coaches, and here's what's going on. You've got the transfer portal that a lot of people are going there first. They're getting the kids out of the portal first because they are a proven commodity. So to say. And then the high school kids are the next level. Okay? High school coaches do not want to hear that, but it's the truth. It is harder now to recruit high school kids than it ever has been because of the transfer portal. And the coaches going through that first and then going through what holes do they need that they could use scholarship money to pick up a high school senior or a high school junior to get him to sign early. So there's a lot of layers to this scenario. And going, thank goodness that this is the last year of the COVID stuff. Okay, now everybody can get back to their normal recruiting cycles, so to say. Because you got to remember, this year those kids were freshmen when COVID hit. Okay, so I mean, there's a lot of layers to this. But what the big kicker right now, honestly, is the transfer portal is killing everything. It's killing how coaches recruit. It's killing how kids are being recruited. And, you still have kids, and I hate to say this. And yes, I work for an NAIA conference. I do a lot of work for the NAIA. I still do a lot of work for NCAA Division II. Kids are going to have to learn very quickly. D1 may not be an option. They're going to have to play D2, D3, NAIA to get reps, to get film. And I go back to it, and I think you guys both watched. Netflix, Last Chance U.
Last Chance U.
It's the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing. What were those kids going to a JUCO for? To get reps, to get film, so that they can go someplace else. That's what these high school seniors, they're going to have to look at D2. They're going to have to look at D3, NAIA, to get reps, to get film, so that if there is an opportunity to go to D1, that's going to give them a better opportunity right now than being a high school senior and getting recruited.
Yeah.
And then you throw the NIL money on top of the whole freaking thing, and it's just ridiculous.
Well, I think what happens.
Go ahead, Zach.
Go ahead, Kevin. Go ahead.
Well, all I was going to say is the layer that gets added onto this too is while you used to just have to recruit outside to come in. They have to. These coaches spend an inordinate amount of time recruiting their own current players
to keep them in the locker room. Exactly. I didn't even go down that rabbit hole yet, but you look at Nick Saban. Why did he retire when he did? He didn't want to deal with it. He didn't want to deal with having to literally beg his kids to stay, and then try to get kids to come in off the board. Why do you think Chip Kelly went to Ohio State as the offensive coordinator, quarterback coach? He's a hell of a head coach. And I tell you what, he was building some great stuff out at UCLA. He doesn't want to deal with the headache that these coaches are dealing with right now. And once again, Kevin, you hit it. You got to recruit your kids that are in the building to stay in your building.
It used to be that people wanted to be at college because instead of the pros and coach in some instances because it was a little less pressure.
Oh,
it's not the case anymore. It's a 12-month job where the pros are mandated to have all this time off due to the PA agreement and stuff like that. It might be easier to coach in the pros because you've got a GM handling getting your team together, and it's not the head coach doing it all.
Or to be a coordinator, a coordinator right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you're going to see. You
can just coach again.
Yeah. You're going to see, and I honestly believe this, and once again, you have the new thing that hit with all the FAFSA garbage that's going around, but then you have also the new labor law rule that basically says you have to be paid, I believe the number is $45,000 a year, and if you aren't paid that, you need to be paid overtime, and that's going to suck a lot of money out of college athletic departments. We're already seeing it. But football and basketball, your big sports, you're gonna have to hire a coach that his only job is how to handle NIL, how to handle the transfer portal. Then you're gonna have to hire a couple other analysts, so to say.
Well, and you don't even have to do that anymore because now they've completely eliminated that restriction as to the number of on-field coaches you can have, and all the former coaches would be analysts. Now you can have 45 coaches on the sideline. If your university will fund it, you can have every former head coach you wanted on your staff on the sideline.
Absolutely.
Well, okay, so just to maybe I don't know, just this, and Chris, I mean, now that he's back, he can kind of talk to it. If you are that coach and we live in a microwave generation where you have to win now, the problem is you're not going to play freshmen right out of high school. You're not going to play these guys right out of high school unless they might be these 5-star guys that are probably going to be lottery picks in the NFL draft.
Yeah.
So
top 1%.
Again, right? So one, why do you you have to allocate your time, but go to D2, go to JUCO, go to wherever. Because the thing, when we were all younger, you went if you were D1 and you went to JUCO, well, everybody knows you went to JUCO because you didn't make grades. So you go to JUCO, so you get your GPA up, so you can go.
Or you did something,
D1,
or you did something stupid,
right? Or you did something stupid. I know. And again, this is 20 years ago, but I know playing at an NAIA school, baseball, but at basketball games, we would have opponents that were like, oh, that guy played at this D1 college and this guy played at that D1 college, but he messed up, he got kicked out, and you see them and you're like, oh, wow, there is a difference between NAIA and D1. Now, I think what happens, again, we said it, you get a little bit more development, you get a little bit more film. I don't necessarily think it's a big deal or even a bad deal for these high school athletes. It's just a matter of, what have you been told your whole life? Hey, you gotta go D1.
Is the problem.
You're the stud. So maybe they haven't devoted the time and attention to academics, and then they realize, oh man, I don't have this NIL deal, and now I have to go to who knows where in Iowa or who knows where in Nebraska or wherever, and maybe I don't ever make it at all, because that's just how this game is played right now.
They don't educate.
No,
they don't educate these student athletes on the NIL until they're being recruited. If there was a way to educate them on how this NIL works before the recruiting process starts, it may head off a lot of this, where they would learn some lessons very quickly that they don't learn them the hard way by generally believing what everybody tells them to.
The one thing that drives me nuts, though, guys, is you have parents that are enabling kids from when they're 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. You're going to be Division I. You're going to go to the Mizzou. The kids have had this going nonstop, nonstop, and then all of a sudden they aren't going to be a D1. But mom and dad is still going to keep pushing that, and it's actually the kids. I don't think would care where they go to play. It's mom and dad, because guess what? Mom and dad's egos got a little bit bruised, and because they
mom and dad have dumped $50,000 over the last however many years playing travel ball in some way.
Right.
Not every parent is like that. I've been around some good ones.
No, I'm not saying every parent is, but I'm saying
there are the parents out there that are like that. Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's been a big detriment to it as well.
They see it as they see that travel ball as more of an investment into something, as opposed to just giving an opportunity to their kid to do something they love to do.
I just saw somebody put out there, and I know Chris, I don't know if Chris can hear us, but it's going to be soccer.
I can hear you guys.
But there's a lot of people that are a lot of high school coaches right now, soccer-wise, kicking and screaming. What has the academy system here in St. Louis done to get kids into high-level colleges? I don't think it really has. I think a lot of it still has to do with the high school coaches on what they're doing to get these kids into college. And Kevin, you know what academy program I'm talking about. It's not City, because City's doing it the right way in letting those kids play high school with their team, with their classmates. It's the other one that won't let their kids play high school because they think it's too good for them.
Are you talking about the Gallagher one?
No,
yes.
And you can say
there's a couple others, but Gallagher is the one that started
it. I knew.
Only Gallagher I know smashed watermelons.
Well, and this is not just in soccer, but in a lot of sports, it has gone the direction of non-parent coaches who are getting paid and making their living out of being a youth coach. And some are doing it absolutely the right way, and they're doing a great job. There are some that just aren't, and I know several that are doing it the right way, and they're great people. They're doing what they need to.
Yeah.
And they're actually coaching like 4, 5, 6 teams in the summer under these programs to do this, and they're doing a great job doing it. But it's got so oversaturated that it's hard to tell that line. And if you're from the outside looking in, you can't see that line. But
I'll say this as a kid, as a parent who has a junior who has college aspirations. Now he's got to perform better. He hasn't done his freshman sophomore year worth of darn. As a coach, I'd say get better, right? But I'm going to tell you this: their parents and the kids, they don't have a clue about the school system, the collegiate ranks, when it comes to, hey, do you know just outside your doorstep, there's probably 10 or 15 colleges that you've never heard of that might be, again, NAIA schools, they might be D2, D3 schools, they might be JUCOs, different levels of JUCO. And you're like, oh, I didn't even know this was this college, and this campus is, an hour and a half away from me. And so again, Kevin said it, there just needs to be an education. And I think maybe some schools do like a college and career class, but like, I don't know.
A lot of schools don't, though. A lot of schools don't.
Yeah.
And you have guidance counselors that have absolutely no flipping idea about the recruiting process, unless you're at a big school, maybe a Class 6 school. You get below that, you don't have guidance counselors in these high schools that know the rules, that know the NIL, that know they don't. I've seen it. I've talked to counselors. I mean, I've had a few reach out to me because they know I know some of the rules. But it's shut up, hashtag.
The rules are so hard to understand in some of those.
Because they change every year, Kevin.
I know that. But I realize
they change every year.
Hard to know the rules when they change so much. But what I will say is, as a high school coach, in a sport where travel softball is pretty heavy, and in soccer where select soccer is pretty heavy, there is a constant fight. And you don't have this as much in football. There's a constant kind of tussle for, whatever you need between high school coaches and travel coaches as to which one's the more important one. And the ones that have been able to figure this out and get it right are the ones that understand that both play a role in the process.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And basketball's the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball's the worst because you get these AAU summer coaches that tell their kids not to play. And I know this for a fact. There have been some of the top kids on the girls' side in the area were told by their club coaches they were not allowed to practice or play with their high school teams this June. And that's ridiculous. And if I'm a high school coach, you know what I'm telling them? You know what? You better come in ready to go because you don't have a starting spot.
Yeah,
and you missed 20 days of not practicing with your teammates.
Jim,
hey, that's great. That's great in theory, but when your livelihood, livelihood depends on it, that
I get it.
And I fully understand as a high school coach that travel and select tournaments are much easier for college coaches to recruit at because you can go see 50 teams versus coming to a game and seeing 2 teams. I understand that.
That's the problem.
But some of the college coaches also really understand the fact that we as high school coaches get to see them on a daily basis at practice. How do they handle that? How do they handle a practice after a long day of school?
Right.
Those types of things, so that there is some input. And me as a high school softball coach, I understand that that's a great opportunity for those kids to go play a lot of softball and get some things taken care of there, where we just can't do that in the 3 months of the high school season. So I don't fault them for that. I just want to make sure that the travel coaches also realize that playing for your community team or whatever it might be with your friends means something as well, and that should be part of the case.
Well, that's why I love how Ben did our summer schedule. We did our contact days in June. That way, July, when everybody's ramping up once again with the AU stuff, those kids, and we've got a bunch of them that are playing, club ball, that frees them up to do whatever they need to do in July. Let them go do their thing. That way we're not asking them to pick and choose and all that kind of stuff.
Harrison did the same thing with the girls program this summer. He did everything in June so he could leave July because he coaches some travel.
Well, right. He coaches fee. And he coaches fee and
Go ahead, Zach.
Oh, I was just going to say you have to have camaraderie. You have to have camaraderie among your coaching staff, and I think that's got to come from the top down. And I know over the years of doing this show, we've talked about it. That here's the problem: is that depending on the school district that you work in, and depending on the different sports that you coach, a school A values. Throw this out because I don't coach it, football, but then school B over here values, I don't know, badminton. Okay. And so what winds up happening is you get all of these other coaches that are left in the lurch because we're only going to focus on this sport and then vice versa over here. And then it's like, well, they get to make the schedule, they get to make the decisions, and you're left with everything else. Now, a lot of schools don't do that, but I know I've said it to where Michigan needs to come in, which I know Kevin always says they want less responsibility.
Well, their hand is going to. We're going to talk about this, and I think the next week will be the week since we're going to be in person. Michigan's hand is going to get forced, I think, this time around because there is so many kids transferring from one school to another school, from here to there, and all that stuff. I have a feeling that Michigan's going to have to do something because they are going to get absolutely inundated with transfers and with appeals and all that stuff. So there's two ways that it's going to go. You either blanket everybody and say, go ahead, or you say, nope. Make them come to Columbia for the appeals. And we'll talk about that more. But I know for a fact that there are at least going to be 20 to 25 transfers that I've already heard through the grapevine here in St. Louis with kids going from one school to another school. And the problem is they can't cry hardship. Annette. So it's going to get really interesting. And I was thinking that's a topic we can talk about next week while we're all together. But once again, I'm hoping Michigan can finally put a kibosh on it, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see.
They're not going to put it. They're not.
There he is.
They're just not. I mean, the thing about colleges right now is, to go back to what you guys were saying earlier when you didn't think I was listening.
We knew you were listening.
Those kids, now that you have the transfer portal like it is, everybody should go to a smaller college if you're not big time right out of high school. I mean, the best of the best. Forget it. I would go to a small college and then just move up to go to a different one. You know, let somebody see that you're pretty good, and then market yourself that way, and you might have a shot at the NFL at that point. That's how they all should do it. They should do that probably in basketball too. As far as
look at what's his face from the Lakers draft pick.
Who, Bronny? He did great.
Don't get me started.
4-year contract. 4 freaking years.
No, the first round.
For a second round. I know, but still, I'm pissed. You got second round, pick number 55. He got a 4-year deal. I bet everybody around him got a 2-way contract.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
A second round pick.
Hey,
you know who didn't
Chris,
get picked? Armando Baycott didn't even get picked.
I know.
That guy was a hell of a lot better player.
Well, hey,
Stupid.
That's a segment
draft
for
is a
another day.
freaking joke.
Chris, I
Dumb.
believe you've said this multiple times in the years that I've known you.
Don't F this up, Zach.
Well, no, you told me that, and that, yeah. No. It's this. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And Bronny just so happens to know a dude.
I'm not even going to go down this rabbit hole. I did it for 2 straight weeks. My blood pressure went off the charts. And look at this.
What's up?
Why? Why do we
Why are you
have
wearing a Dodgers hat?
Man.
I'm getting pictures of Deering sitting poolside at the beach. Now we get this guy.
Jason's at the beach and his internet's better than Chris's.
That's true.
We left the beach. We just left the beach. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
No, I can't hear you. Who are you? Who are you?
I can't believe I wore this much blue, but Otani was put on a show last night. Yeah. And I was there live to see it. It was awesome.
Are you a Dodgers fan now?
I will tell you this: their fans were better than the Cardinals have been because it was a sellout. There was not a seat. Well, the little late arriving some.
I was gonna say they didn't show up till the 5th inning. What are you talking about? That's Dodger fans.
Bull crap. We got there 2 hours. So they said they didn't show up until the 4th inning. They're Dodgers fans. No,
Jason.
Well,
Jason,
dude,
they are supporting a team that goes out and spends money and tries to buy talent and then develop talent and they show up for that because they know that they're trying to win.
Yeah,
I
they
want
know
you-
they're trying to win. I agree.
Okay,
It was,
so Cardinals
dude,
fans know
They're not like the Cardinals that are content with winning 72 games this year.
Guys, we're gonna be
Dude,
okay.
50. It was a sellout. 52,000. It was Japanese Heritage Day. It was crazy, man. It was crazy. It was a good time.
Did you see
So how
anyone
many
of
Cardinal
Asian
games
descent
have you
there
been
besides
to?
Shohei?
Oh my God, too many people were talking at the same time.
Did you see? Go ahead, Zach.
How many Cardinal games have you been to, Jarvis?
I've been to more Dodgers games in the last 2 years than I have Cardinal games.
Yes.
Wow.
I've been to more St. Louis City games than I've been to Cardinals games in the last 2 years.
Well, it might be the same. I've been to one Cardinal game that I can remember in a while. And
Oh, that's a key thought right there that he can remember.
oh, my daughter, she's walking around here. She was trying not to get the video.
Hey, have Jill come on there and say her famous lines now. No, I'm kidding.
I didn't hear you. What did you say? Have her come on there and what?
And say
Say her
famous
favorite lines.
Her famous line now. No, I'm kidding.
She'll still say, yeah, she would say it probably.
It's okay.
But,
Yeah, but it's okay.
We're live.
This is a family show. This is a family show.
Jason.
She just said, what? Pius sucks.
Sorry, Kevin.
Oh, golly.
Okay, question, Jason. This
Yes.
is important.
Yes.
You said you were there at Japanese Heritage Night, right?
Oh, God.
I was there
here we
for
go.
Japanese Heritage Night, yes.
Was there anyone there of Asian descent besides Shohei Ohtani?
Only a couple.
Okay. I just want to make
There
sure.
it is.
The interpreter?
It was kind of funny. We're walking in, and we didn't know that at first. It was Japanese Heritage, and Jill looks at me. She goes, "Hey, there's a lot of Asian people here tonight." And we're like, "Oh my God, it's Japanese Heritage Night." She's like, "Oh." It was hilarious. Dude, you should have seen the craziness pulling in there. And this was 2 hours before game time, and it was absolutely insane. And then Weston did a great job. He screamed from the time we got out of the car until we got into the stadium. It was pretty fun.
Hey, City scored.
City what?
Yeah, whatever.
Did St. Louis hit a home run or something?
Yeah, St. Louis City scored a goal. They actually lead a game.
Edward Leuven.
What sport is that?
Leuven. Well, it's our next. It's the topic of our next segment, so I'm sure you're going to leave before we talk about that.
Oh, you're talking about soccer next? Ugh.
Yeah, they
Yes,
fired a coach.
because they care about their product, unlike the Cardinals.
Well, I thought it was Doug Armstrong that sucked by the pitcher.
No, we talked about that earlier. So
I still think it sucks that we couldn't get somebody better, but whatever. I guess we'll keep those contracts until those guys freaking die.
Hey, why don't you guys shut up your dog?
The dog is. That's
I don't know.
backwards.
Mine.
That's
Backwards,
backwards.
Jim.
Well,
Jim,
he is back.
upside
he is
down.
Backwards.
Upside down.
Upside down.
Sorry, Jarvis' hat is backwards too. So
Hey, well, you know what,
Facts.
guys, I'm gonna get back to this California life, and I'm sitting here on my cousin's patio, and it's beautiful. He's got a grapefruit tree over here, a lemon tree, an avocado
Nice.
tree, and other than the fires over in the distance, we're doing okay.
Oh, too many
Yeah.
comments.
Wow.
guys. Too many comments.
But I wanted to say hello. You know, I miss you guys since you always have the show when I can't be on. And
well,
so
we'll
I
see
thought
it.
I'd say
We'll see you
hello.
up
That
here
sounds
next
like a you
week.
problem.
Yeah, it does.
Well-
By the way,
My one vacation in like 10 years. So, you know.
Oh, I hear you. I hear you.
Oh shoot! All right, buddy. Well, we will see you next week
You're
at
not
the
getting
Mac for
any
the show.
sympathy from me.
See ya.
see you, Jason.
Deuces. All right, now that Jarvis is gone, we can take a break, and when we come back, we will talk about St. Louis City and actually an organization that is looking to get better with a coaching move earlier this week. You are watching the Coach's Box, Call It As We See It, episode 197. We'll be back in a moment.
I'm a bee, and I bumbled my way into your car.
Buzz.
But this hive isn't big enough for the both of us. Boo!
Oh, wow, what a buzzkill. And if you don't have the right auto insurance coverage,
Paying for this could really sting. So get Allstate, save money, and be protected from mayhem. Like me.
Mayhem is everywhere. Are you in good hands?
It's Between Takes with Daikin and Dave Mars.
Cut. All right, next set up.
Hey, Dave, we got another question about energy savings. And this is a good one.
Yeah, efficiency is so important.
Didn't you just talk with Daikin about this?
They said energy efficiency is the key to a happy marriage. She gets the temperature, I get the savings.
Good to know. I'll tell them to check with their local Daikin dealer.
All right, back to one.
Give Home by SMCI a call today at 636-337-4444 or email them at service@homebysmci.com.
New entertainment, you need full-length content, you need the Real Fresh channel. Hey, I'm Half Fresh from the Real Fresh channel. Subscribe today on YouTube. We have new content. We are a network of podcasters putting out new stuff every single day. Whether you need sports, pro or college, whether you need comedies, whether you need pop culture, whether you need wrestling, we've got so much content on there. Gaming, check it out. Live, not live, we've got it all. The Real Fresh channel. Subscribe today.
And we are back.
I don't know if my audio is working. I was getting ready to bring us in, but go ahead, Jim. You got it.
We weren't sure if your audio was working either. It's the coach's box.
I don't know.
Call it like we see it. Since I got yelled at because I said it wrong is the outro. So episode 197. Big moves, no moves, a tale of two organizations. And earlier this week, boys, St. Louis City. After they lost 4-3, I know me and Kevin have been waiting for this all day. St. Louis City, after the year that they had last year, they let Bradley Carnell go after the loss the other night. They're only had, and Kevin, I'm not sure if you knew this number, out of 27 possible points, they had only scored 3 points in those games.
Last 9 games, they've had six losses and 3 ties.
Right,
and
this
whole thing with Carnell goes back to not performing. They finished
at the end of last year.
Yeah, they finished first in the Western Conference last year, but it was really because they got off to such a hot start in a big lead at the beginning of the year.
Right.
They starting with the mid-season tournament, they have Leagues Cup with the Mexican League. In the middle of the year, they just did not play well after that, and got some decisions based on the fact that they had the goalkeeper of the year and he saved their butts a couple of times.
Sure.
And they just were not getting results. I mean, they have 10 ties already on the year out of 19 games. So they're just not getting results when they should be. But
here's the message.
Here's the message. They're not performing. We're going to go find somebody that can get them to perform.
Exactly. What's
Feel
going
like
on
there's
down
other
the
teams
street?
in St. Louis that aren't doing this as well.
Right, and I think, and I know that Carolyn Taylor, she's taking a beating a little bit, saying, "Why would you do this guy?" At least they're set up to make moves, and they're not resting on what they did last year. Whereas you've got Mosaic and DeWitt, who is sitting on an organization that refuses to make a splash. Once again, I go back to what we talked about in the first segment. They don't want to make a splash. Yeah. Now who is City going to get to be their manager? Nobody knows. It better not be that clown act that coached the USA to that debacle that they just got finished playing in over the weekend.
Well, but here's the thing is it's a messaging type of thing that they do in this. And this is big in soccer and making this. This is locker room messaging. This isn't anything else. St. Louis City has been decimated by injuries.
Mm-hmm.
They've been decimated by international call-ups, and they've sent some people out. But you've got some situations where they're having to play a central midfielder at center back tonight.
Oh, Johnny Klein started the other night, and he's starting tonight, and he's having a heck of a game from what I'm seeing. A St. Louis kid.
Yeah. So, I mean,
okay, so Kevin,
yeah.
Here's what I'm hearing. Not the coach's fault. Not the coach's fault. Not the coach's fault. I'm not big on, unless there is some type of scandal or something illegal. Like, I'm not big on firing a coach in the middle of the season because, again, I don't know how soccer is, but I'm looking at all of the other sports. They don't have any room when it comes to building the roster. They just say, here's your collective team. Now go and coach them. Well, if all you did was
I'll let you go first, Kevin, because I actually watched the press conference on Monday.
If all you've done is give me a bunch of scrub-a-dubs, you can't make chicken salad out of chicken crap. And if it sounds to me like 10 ties, you're not losing. I get it, you're not getting points, but you're not losing either. So
out of those 10 ties, 6 or 7 St. Louis had a lead in the 70th minute. So
Saturday night,
they can't hold a lead. Last Saturday, the game that got him fired, they had a 2-goal lead and lost 4-3. They were up 2-0 and lost 4-3.
And
this is a messaging thing in a sense that it comes down to the players weren't performing. So what did the front office decide to do? Okay, guess what? You're not performing. We're going to change the message, and nobody's safe here.
Right. And if you watch,
they have 2
European
players coming in July from Germany. They both signed a couple. They're signed mid-season to come in. So they're going to add to this roster as they go. They're going to start to get healthy. They have the talent to be there. They just, whether it's through training or tactics, they just cannot finish. And it's it's a little bit of a playing through the system type of thing. So let's give a different viewpoint. Let's give a different pace during training and focus and things like that and see what happens.
Okay. So, are there free substitutions, or is it you only got X amount of substitutions?
You get 5 substitutions a game. So I would say in soccer, more so than other sports that have free substitution, a coach's decisions in those substitutions can affect a game.
So then evaluate that then. So if you're saying they're losing games late, is that the problem?
I think there's part of that to that. I think that tactically speaking, I think they play a little bit on the front foot too much, which means that leaves their defenders out on an island. Yeah. And then when they make subs, I think they're making, I believe, and now I am just a high school assistant varsity coach looking at it from the outside looking in, I think they're probably subbing in places too late.
Yeah,
I think that they can make those subs because it's hard to get into the flow of a game after sitting for 75 minutes to get in and then have to get right up to full speed right off the bat. Because in professional soccer, once you make a sub, you're out of the game.
You can't come back in. You're done.
So you get those 5. I think if they make those subs in the 60th minute and let them take that time to get up to speed, I think that's a different story than trying to make that sub in 15 minutes and having to not being able to get up to full speed and in the flow of the game in enough time when that other team, when they're down in the last 15, 20 minutes, are making their full push to try to score the equalizer or the game winner in many cases.
Okay, so hold on.
Yep, another goal.
Yes, sir. 2-0 now. Okay, so if you follow the English Premier League or any of the others, you see what they call managers, head coaches get let go mid-season. Okay, this isn't something that's new. It's the culture of how soccer was built over, in Europe and all that. And I watched the press conference on Monday, and the head of soccer, Lutz, he very blatantly said we needed to make a change. We felt that the voice was being lost. We felt that there was different things that happened, and we felt that if we're going to have an opportunity to make the playoffs, we have to win now, and we have to make the change now. It wasn't not the coach's fault. They've got to win what, Kevin? I think they got 12 matches left. They probably got to win 8.
14 matches left. They have to win 9 of the 14 to get in, and they can. They can score. They can play. They drive teams. They give them fits. But a lot of part of this is I think a big part of this is there's a player that's on the roster that, because let's say you have 25 on your roster, you only dress 18 for a game.
Right.
So you have your starting 11 and then your 6 or 7 on the bench. One's the backup goalkeeper. Sam Adeniran is probably one of the best goal scoring threats that we have. And as a team that doesn't score goals, he has not even been put in the match day lineup in the last 4 or 5 games because he does not work according to what I think Carnell thought that he wanted within his thing. The problem is he just scores goals.
Yeah.
All he does is score goals. And he was even off the bench. He's a great change of pace. He can, when you're doing the match rotation type of stuff and giving a start occasionally, but he wasn't even putting him on the bench for games and was only saying, hey, we're trying to get him off the roster. So we did not put him on the match day roster. He's on the bench today for Hackworth, but
right.
There was one of those things where it was just such a confusing message to have.
Here's why I wanted to bring this all in is because we see what the Cardinals have done for the last 2 years. You have an organization that, we'll give them the 2 years that they use to get everything going, get their draft, get everybody on the same page. So 3.5 years that City has been around. And they look to make a big move in year 2. What message is that sending? And Kevin's exactly correct. It's sending a message. What message is being sent down at Busch Stadium when you've got a manager with a bunch of guys that are underachieving, but then you're giving him garbage? And once again, I don't want to hear about how good the pitching staff has been. They're terrible, and nobody's going to tell me any differently. But Ollie Marmol should have been gone. If you follow the blueprint, what? Turn your internet off. We don't need to hear from you. Anyway, but shouldn't you've got a team in a city that wants to win, that wants to do the right thing, but then you've got another team that is just resting on their laurels.
Well, it's really simple. It doesn't even have to be the coach. Somebody at last year finishing last, somebody of a decision making should have lost their job. And what this is an organization saying what's going on the field is not good enough. It needs to be better. We have higher standards. We're holding somebody to a standard, and somebody's taking the fall on this.
Exactly.
So it's easier to change one coach than 11 players. So guess what, coach? Part of you getting the paycheck that you're getting is you have to wear the results. And Carnell wore the results. And there's not that level of accountability within the Cardinals organization.
No.
There was with the Blues because they made the decision on Berube, a very popular coach that didn't do it. And Carnell's the same
that won them a Stanley Cup
Yeah.
For the first time in years.
And and I think it's in a locker room saying, you know, it's akin to Billy Bean going in the locker room and saying, we traded Pena, we traded Giambi, you can't play him anymore, we're sending him down. You're doing
okay.
this the right
How's
way.
that work out
What
for
you're
the
doing is not
Blues?
good enough.
How's that worked out for the Blues?
We'll find out this year with a full year under Bannister.
This decision isn't
Thank you,
necessarily
Chris.
made for this year. This decision for the next 8 games, 9 games, this decision is made moving forward with the ability to find it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And
I
who's
hear
coaching
you.
them right now? Who's coaching them right now is, I believe his first name is John Hackworth. I know his last name's Hackworth.
He's
he
been
was
a U.S. men's national team coach, assistant coach, who's been a coach for the Philadelphia Union, the MLS. We were lucky to have him on our staff to begin with.
And he's the technical director, so he's the one that has a lot of say when it comes to bringing players in. I mean, he's the one that built the City 2, which is the AAA, so to say. Okay,
the AAA.
So is he going to be the guy? Is he going to be the next head coach?
I doubt it. They want him more in that technical advisor's role.
Then why did you?
Because you needed a new voice, and
you couldn't keep going down the same path that you were doing this time. You couldn't keep going down it.
Is that because there's still a percentage of making the playoffs?
Yes, absolutely. And you look at their schedule in the second half of the season after you get through the All-Star game, and then I believe we got CONCACAF or something, the League's Cup. Okay, where there's going to be a 2-week break. You still have games that you can win, and the City schedule actually sets up really, really good for them in the second part of the season.
Yeah,
and that. So yes, I think. And if you watch the press conference, and like you said, I watched it, and they were very blunt about what they did, and they also flat out said, if they would have held on to that lead on Saturday night and not lost 4-3 and not blown a 2-goal lead, this firing would not have happened.
He had a short leash.
Oh,
and he
very
was
short.
And he was going to be able to continue that leash. If he would have held on to, if he wins,
it would have been another week. It had just been another week and another. You know what I mean?
You're right.
It would have been miserable for the
coaching
guy.
for your job. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And I wish somebody else
that's
across
why
in
you
another
have
stadium down the street would say the same thing.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you very much.
If you're, but
Or
I don't know.
somebody
I
has
just
a
look
job.
at it as look at it as you. Okay, and I understand that the soccer season is Chris is gone. I understand that the soccer season is lengthy. I mean, it's several actual like seasons in terms of winter, spring, summer, all that stuff.
Sure.
If you are under contract, I just don't see it because he's not playing defense. He's not letting goals go through. And to me, it's like you are the ones that made this roster. Now, if he had decision power, if he had veto power, and isn't MLS, and if I'm wrong, tell me, isn't MLS an offensive league anyway, where they're supposed to be scoring a lot of goals?
Yes. Well, okay. Here's what I'll say. Yes.
But hold on, before you jump into that, Kevin.
City was not scoring goals. That's the
thing. Right. The team that they're playing tonight, San Jose, they have an interim coach. I think, if I'm not mistaken, there's 4 or 5 teams that are playing with interim coaches right now.
Some of those interim coaches since the beginning of the year because other coaches left. Right. Here's what I'll say to you, Jack, is if you compare this in a little bit to how baseball is, when hey, why fire the coach and you do this? You look at this roster for St. Louis City, and probably about 65-70% of this roster has played overseas previously to coming here, because that's just how soccer is. You go overseas, you come here. This is what they do in overseas leagues when teams don't perform. You fire the coach, even if it's 6 games in, you go 0-6. So this is what these players kind of expect. Hey, if we're not performing, it's got to be the voice. It's got to be the technical. The coach, more so in soccer than in many other sports, has a firm grasp on what happens in games. It's not all about the players like it is in baseball. They're not the one hitting. Well, guess what? You're the one putting a guy who's normally playing left back at center back, and he shouldn't be there in the first place. You put it right. You could have put anybody else there. You could have put a central mid for Chris Durkin like they did today, which was a much better choice than Anthony Marcanic at
I
center
agree.
back.
But here's the thing too, and I'm hoping that USA Men's National, after that absolute embarrassment this past weekend, number one, they should have never lost to Panama. And then you get a red card for stupidity. And then you I mean, it's seriously.
It was frustration, stupidity.
Yeah, and then, I mean, but you have to understand in soccer, it all falls on the head coach's shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't agree with them bringing back Berhalter. I did not agree with that. And they've got a year and a half to figure their stuff out before the World Cup in 26.
Are we going to recruit?
Is not it.
Are we okay? Are we going to recruit like foreign players to come over on dual citizenship?
You can't do that.
No.
Then what are we talking about? That's like
hold on. For Team USA, Zach, or for City?
Yeah.
For Team USA. They've got a good
it's the
team.
United States. We're not good at soccer.
Well, they have a good team. They have a Kevin. Agree?
This is the golden age of the U.S. men's national team in this group. All right, and you
Welcome
can make
to
fun
the
of it all you
JV,
want,
guys. Good job, golden age. JV.
What is that? The AARP division or what? I know it's golden age.
So, but
two guys that don't know soccer chiming in.
So it's a messaging, that type of thing. We've said this before. This tactics, especially at the national team level, is a big deal because you're only together for 3 weeks at a time, if that.
Kick the ball.
A couple of times a year.
Score a goal.
All I'm going to say is this: the fact that everybody's losing their minds about USA Soccer versus Japan's football team drubbing the United States football team.
They're playing a bunch of
That's a guy that should have been fired. Soccer. When's the last time USA ever won anything?
30-year-old dudes playing against 19 and 20-year-old D3 football players. I could care less about that.
Jim, don't get in. Zach is absolutely right. In a loss like that, he should be fired. That is completely separate from what we're talking about right now.
Exactly. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for
USA
whoever hooked up Chris's internet should be fired. Again, completely separate situation. I will be happy to see who they bring in because I know they'll make a good choice.
They'll make some change.
These decisions.
Yeah.
I don't care that it's not even Ali Marmal that gets fired for the Cardinals thing. I just think that finishing last, I think it needs to be someone of a decision-making value.
If they finish last this year, Mozeliak or Marmal or even both should be gone.
They won't be, but they should.
They won't be
on their laurels. They're not resting on their laurels. They're resting on their dollars and cents that they're making off the people in and around St. Louis. That's what they're resting on.
And they're sitting there saying, "Oh, if you don't come to games, then we can't do." Well, how much money are they making with Ballpark Village, for crying out loud?
Okay, so
laurels
Zach, in
from
that
2011. Go ahead.
So the ownership. So you're saying
they can't even beat Pittsburgh right now. Shut up, Zach.
The ownership group from St. Louis City has the newest stadium in the league, the best atmosphere in the league, and they've had constant all sellouts for every home game they've ever had. So they have some influx of cash coming through. They have spent some money on some players. They're bringing in 2 German players at decent sized contracts to join us soon. They're spending their money on players. They weren't getting the results they thought they should have gotten. So they decided to go in a different direction. I don't see what they're not sitting on their money.
I will tell you this.
They decided they want to win too.
St. Louis City is in a position to win. They have a fan base that's excited about it. I hear it's great. I'll probably go to a City game at some point just because
I will take you to a City game, Chris. I will buy your ticket. Now I'm going to leave it with this because I know we got to get going. When I go to I go to Frisco, Texas every January for the FCS championship that's played where FC Dallas plays. And I get a chance to talk to a lot of the folks down there.
Hashtag
They came up here to watch a game, and the comment was, I wish we could get that type of crowd in this stadium like St. Louis does.
Yeah.
Hey, St. Louis is a great
the
sports
word
town.
around, and it's a great soccer town. It is a phenomenal soccer town.
So I don't blame the ownership group. While maybe it's not a decision I would have made, I don't blame the ownership group for saying, hey, we're not getting what we want. We're going to go in a different direction. It's easier to change a coach than it is to change 11 players. So we're going to go that route.
Right. Exactly.
So,
well,
are you guys now sold on soccer, you two?
No, they're not. you saw the crawl.
Hey, did you see the ticker? Did you see the ticker?
I just said that the crawl.
I didn't read it. I figured it was some jerk.
Go back and
I
read
wanted
it.
nothing to do with it.
That was hilarious.
Listen,
St. Louis,
nice job, Cardinals.
Hey, St. Louis
Cardinals
City SC
stink.
is 12th in the Western Conference when you look at the table. They do have
Yes,
too
we
many
know.
draws.
Oh, he said table. He said table.
I'm not stupid. I know enough. You guys act like I know anything about soccer.
Quick soccer vocabulary quiz.
No.
What is a soccer field called everywhere but America?
Pitch.
What are soccer shoes called?
Hang on.
Give me multiple choice. I know the jerseys are called kits. Boots. I know the jerseys are kits.
Good boy.
They're boots.
Hey, welcome to Wrexham. That's a great show.
Never watched it.
Yes.
It's great. Hey,
watch Ted Lasso.
Between Ted Lasso and welcome.
Yes, exactly.
Would know these.
Too many streaming services. Otherwise, I would.
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
The Cardinals couldn't pitch Helsley to get the save tonight because God forbid the SOB pitches 3 days.
They had an off day.
He doesn't need
Didn't
off.
they have an off day?
Win.
Didn't they have an off day yesterday?
Yes, they were off yesterday. Only like 3 teams played yesterday, or 3 games.
Well, guess
yesterday.
what? We didn't pitch Helsley.
Oh God, I don't. I'm done. I'm done with the Cardinals. They are the worst team in MLB history. I may start rooting for the Cleveland Indians again.
Why would you pitch? Why would you pitch him if you don't have a lead?
No, it's Indians. Stop it, Kevin. Just stop it. It's Indians.
They had the lead.
Oh, they did.
They had the lead. They were up 4-2.
They were up
3-2.
They were up in the 10th inning.
Yeah, they were up in the 10th, 4-3.
They didn't pitch him?
Nope. Up. Update. It's now over, and Pittsburgh wins 5-4.
They won. That's what I'm saying. I looked at it. So here's what's great. All the younger guys are leading our team. Arenado and Goldschmidt suck.
Yeah, I believe we've established this.
Hey,
shocking development right there.
Let's talk about something positive of this. Who are the all-stars or all-star from the Cardinals? Who are the representatives?
Mason Wynn.
That's it. Wynn.
Or Burleson. Was it Wynn?
No.
Helsley.
All year.
Helsley.
31 saves?
Only one.
Well, yeah. I figured they would get 2.
Saves.
I say it's
31
Helsley.
That's what I figured.
Helsley's
That's what I was
31 consecutive saves.
Yeah, it's Wynn. I don't even know it's Wynn. It's Helsley first because there's a lot of good shortstops. I don't know that they'll pick Wynn.
I don't think.
But I think due to injuries and people's not playing, I think it's Helsley and Wynn.
Didn't they announce that tonight, or is that on Friday?
It's not
Friday?
Tonight.
Okay.
All I gotta say is I would stop playing Goldschmidt and Arenado, and I would play all those younger guys. I'd bring Walker back up, and I would eat half of the contract on one of those 2 clowns.
Don't say that because Kevin still thinks you're going to win 91 games.
They have a better chance of winning 91 games not playing those 2.
Told you they ain't leaders.
Wow.
100%.
They're not leaders.
You know what, Zach? You're right. Yeah. I'm going to say Zach was right. Those guys are not leaders. Arenado's a piece of shit.
Oh my God! Hey, by the way, real quick, and I forgot to mention this in our group text.
It's easy to play first. It's easy. Tell him, Wash.
It's incredibly
real quick for all of us basketball guys. I don't know if you guys saw this on the Twitterverse. Dickie V had a relapse, and they went in to do surgery. They found another cancerous lymph node, and he had emergency surgery yesterday, and in fact, it just popped up on my timeline, about, he's doing okay and everything. But for all of us basketball guys and everybody, let's take a real quick thought and prayer to Dickie V, and, make sure he can come out of this. This is the fourth time that he's been fighting cancer. And, the other night I stumbled across on YouTube the Stuart Scott speech from the ESPYs. And I still sit there every time I watch it. I sit there and cry, especially when he brings his daughters up. I am so glad that ESPN green-lighted a 30 for 30 on Stu.
Oh, they did?
I think, yes, they did. And I think that is just going to be, it's going to be phenomenal. But, cancer sucks. Cancer's terrible. And if, for all of us basketball folks, take a quick moment tonight and say a thought and prayer for Dickie V, and let's get him through this one more time. And hopefully he'll be able to call some, because the bad thing is the lymph node is on his vocal cords. That's why he didn't call a lot of games last year, and it looks like he may not be able to call a lot of games this year. So let's take a minute and just take a quick thought and prayer for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yep.
So, all right, let's wrap this thing up. Next week, for everybody in South City, we will be at the MAC. What are we going to go 8 o'clock next week, guys? 8 o'clock at the MAC?
Hey, it depends on your bedtime, Jim.
There won't be a bedtime next week, brother. You guys are all here. Oh, we're going 7.
I was gonna say, I don't know. He sent a lot of late group messages lately.
Damn, where are these balloons coming from?
I don't even know how
it's the balloon party. I have no idea either. But we'll be at the MAC next week. Once again, hope we can get some of our friends there and all that stuff. We'll have a lot of fun and some great food there. Come hungry. They got great, burgers, wings, pizza, and all that kind of stuff. So 7 o'clock next week at the MAC, boys.
Yep, that'll work. All right. Well, let's see if I mess this whole thing up. Can you guys hear me right now? At least I don't know.
It hasn't broken up yet.
Okay, good. Because I missed a lot of the show. I got to listen to it choppily. It was terrible. It was like, and I just
Wayne's World ordering, right?
Yeah,
yes.
100%. Yeah, I just wanted to start yelling no and then, but that Jim doesn't get that reference. It's okay.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
Movie?
I can't remember what movie.
Dude, what's mine say? Sweet. What's mine say? Dude.
Gosh.
Where's my car? Hey.
Dude, where's my car?
Yep.
Beavis and Butthead's coming back next week with all the new improved episodes.
You would know
that.
Hey,
Chris.
Yeah.
I want you to Google search
Gurgle?
Max Headroom.
Oh, that best ever.
Yeah.
Max Headroom is phenomenal.
Max Headroom.
Send it to me in the group thing so I don't.
Yeah, right.
Oh God.
I make sure I put the browser in incognito mode here. I Google anything you tell me to pick up. Jeez. All right.
If I close it,
what?
All right,
I'll do it.
Go ahead.
Since Jim forgot this part, don't forget, if you like the show, you like watching it, you can check us out every week that we do the show on Facebook, YouTube, now on the X, used to be Twitter, Twitch, if you have Twitch. What? Am I messing up again?
No.
Oh, okay. You're just being a jack.
I'm being that guy. Okay. I'm being that guy right now.
All right. Whatever. All right. So, don't forget, you can always watch our show for free. You can check us out there. Don't forget.
For free.
You can comment on it. We do appreciate any comments. Positives always help make Jim feel better. And you can listen to us for free on Apple Podcasts and Spotify once I get around to actually uploading the stuff and the audio. This audio will probably suck, but that's okay. I'll still upload it anyway. For all the guys and Jason, who's not here because he's in the wonderful wasteland of California, appreciate you guys tuning in. Episode 198 will be next week. We'll be live at the MAX, so hope you guys get a chance to hang out, tune in, and we'll see you all then. Good night. God bless. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Deuces.
This episode of the Coach's Box Call It Like We See It podcast is brought to you by Off the Rails Media. Life's more fun when